click on Windows, and then we look at the different install version. So the first thing we do is click on the Flutter SDK and download it. Once we download it, we are able to extract it, and the suggestion is that it should be a simple location which does not require administrative rights. So something like this, CSRC Flutter or some else. Next thing we do is we go to the system settings and environment variables, and we add a new environment variable to the system settings or the user settings. So I prefer using it for the system, so it's there for all the users. Once we are able to do that, we open up a command prompt, and if I type where Flutter Dart, this is going to give me the locations of Flutter and Dart inside my computer. So now I can run a program called Flutter Doctor, and as you can see, it gives me all the errors, and it gives me three issues in three categories. So the first thing I'm going to do is download the Flutter Android Studio, and so this is done. Okay, after I get downloaded, I install the Android Studio, and then these are all the steps. So I hit next, and then have installed by now. Forward, and then launch the Android Studio. So in this case, as you can see, I'm just trying to see where everything is installed, and the type of environment that I want to see, dark or light, and just move on. So now one of the things that we need to do is set up the emulator, and so I'm going to show you all the errors. This probably won't work the first time, so let's see. I think can accept. Now the hexam, in my case, this probably won't work because I've not updated the BIOS to run virtualization. As you can see, the hexam didn't work. So why this didn't work? Because to do that I have to restart my computer. So now I'm going to go to Android Studio and install Flutter, and as you can see, if I install the Flutter tool, this is also going to install Dart. Let's see what happens next. So I'm going to go back and see the doctor and see what happens there. As you can see, the tools are still missing, so there are two categories now instead of three. So now to fix that, let's try to install the licenses. Does that work? Well, this doesn't work. Why? Because the SDK manager itself is not installed. So what I can do is I can go to SDK manager and we use the Android Studio, and let's see how it goes. So in Android Studio SDK, let's see. Okay, so the version which says it's installed, but gets updated. So after that, I have to go to SDK tools, and over here I have to install the command line Android SDK command line tools, because that was one of the errors. So I go there and I click OK, and those get installed as well. Now let's try again. As you can see, uh, I want to run the licenses again because they need to be accepted. So let's see, Flutter Doctor, and then I type the same command which is given previously, and it says they've not been accepted, so I say yes, and then it's going to show me all the licenses, and I'll just start accepting them one at a time. Yes, accept, yes. Okay, so let's see. So now the only problem left is the Visual Studio. So I go to the Visual Studio launcher. In my case, I had the Visual Studio community installed. So I go over there and I click on the desktop environment with C++. And I think hopefully this should be one of the things we can do. Now I have changed the settings and I want to install the XM, and let's see if that gets installed. Okay, finally, if I run the Flutter Doctor, I can see that there are no issues here, and I can go to SDK Manager. Okay, so everything seems to be okay now. Now the XM it didn't install actually, so let's do it from here. Now it's finally installed. So the last time was a failure. Okay, so finally we're successful, and XM is installed successfully, and we're done.